Hello, welcome back to the 80s. Look back to the 80s. Last video I did, when we come back, about the 70s. And when we come back from Arizona in 1980. Because Mom and Dad could not pay the taxes back in because we couldn't sell the house. So we moved back. Before I go on about when we come back, I forgot to mention last time about the toys I used to have when I was in the 70s and that. I remember one thing, I loved it. It was called a light bright. And then, it was I'm not sure what it was. Anyway, you could stretch the arms and that. And I used to have a teddy bear. I named Teddy. And I remember I didn't go nowhere about him. And then I come back from Arizona. I thought I left him in Arizona. I was so hurt. I cried like crazy because I thought I lost my best friend and everything. And here we stopped by a roadside rest. And Dad was getting out the camera and stuff, and he said, "I don't believe it." And Dad, we were like, "What?" "I found something." He goes, I said, "What?" Here he pulled out Teddy. Oh, I was so happy and everything. And also one mention about our trip. We were in, I think it was Idaho or something. It started with an I. But anyway, the mosquitoes are so bad there. We had to drive to the next state before we slept. Because we just were all bit up. And then, the first time I was ever in a sandstorm. I didn't know what a sandstorm was. And Dad grabbed everything and said, "Head for the car, there's a sandstorm coming." And this was in Texas. I'm like, "A what?" And about that time I hardly could see anything. And that. Okay. This is going to be shorter than the 70s. Because I know, for some reason, I know a lot more about the 70s than the 80s. I don't know why. Yeah, I do. But I'm not sharing that. I was 10 years old when we came back, and I had my 10-year-old birthday party in Arizona. So I was 10 years when we got back. We still went to church. And we went to the Mountain View Alliance Church where we went before we went out. But I remember something. Pastor Anderson still was a pastor when we came back. The hangouts when I was a kid. Now it's almost like a teenager now. was Jiffy Market, because they had arcade games, and the pool hall. We had a couple in the shore that we hung out at, and it was just one guy come on getting in trouble for drugs and marijuana and everything, and the other one, the kids just started fighting and everything else, so they closed it. It's where the Domino's Pizza is now in Jersey Shore. Okay, and on TV, the program changed. They didn't have TV on, they didn't have cartoons on every channel on Sunday. On Saturday. They had Magnum P.I. I put down what we used to watch. Magnum P.I., Simon & Simon, MacGyver, Knight Rider. I asked Mom about Dynasty, but she don't think to watch that, but they did watch J.R. Okay, who shot J.R. in the 18? One thing about the 18, everybody in my class wanted shave their heads like Mr. T. I know I did, but Dad wouldn't let me. And then also, when Michael Jackson was popular, they wanted spike their hair like Michael Jackson. And then the Atari was popular. It was a game console. They had Frogger, Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man, Donkey Kong, and Space Invaders. My favorite one was Space Invaders and Frogger. And then VCR tapes were very popular because they were just coming out. And I wish I had all the money now that we spent on VCR tapes. Because they had VCR tape stores in Jersey Shore. And that's when I started watching professional wrestling in the 80s. Yeah, when it was wrestling. And not like it is today. Except with AEW. AEW was not scripted. That's real wrestling. We would go down every weekend. And there was a West Coast video. I wonder if that's still in. No, not West Coast. More video. It was more video, sorry. And then at Footy Swifty, they had VCR tapes. And then Unimarket, they had VCR tapes. And we rented all the horror movies, zombie movies, all the wrestling movies, everything like that. Okay, my first job, I got a job when I was 16 years old from STEP. They had a summer program. And I got a job there. And that's why I started working for the school. And when I started, the minimum wage is 335. I worked at this school every year until I graduated in 1989. And when I graduated, I applied for a job at the school district and I got hired. I was a substitute. And the only school that I said I wouldn't go to, and that's over by Rocktown. I'm not sure the name of it. But I stayed at the school district until 1994. And I want to mention something I don't have written down here about Christmas. Like I said in the 70s, look back to the 70s, we didn't have that much money. But Mom and Dad made sure we had a perfect Christmas. They got us stuff that we wanted and stuff that we needed. And then we got them some because they gave us allowance to give them stuff. And then on Thanksgiving, we would have the whole trimming, everything. I remember Graham and Danny would have us up to their house for Thanksgiving. I think we went up to Christmas too. But anyway, we went up to Christmas. Thanksgiving for dinner. The adults sat at one table, and the children sat at the other table. A card table in the dining room. But I remember this. I'll never forget it. Danny, my step-grandfather, instead of him sitting at the adult table where there was room, he came in and brought his plate in, sat down with us children, and they ate in there. And I never forgot that. Okay, that's all for this one, too. Look back to the 80s. But leave a comment if you remember something about the 80s that I forgot. But this week, I'm going to be on some more videos, but they won't be on Friday or, Saturday. The one will be on Tuesday, no. Oh, they're both going. I'll put one on the 3rd and one on the 4th. One on the 3rd will be, are you going to vote? I don't usually write out my topics, this time I am. And then on the 4th, I'm going to do one, did you vote? And then next time, it'll be on 11/16, when I bring it back on Friday. And that. Okay, thank you for watching. Remember, subscribe, like my videos, watch my videos, and share my videos and leave comments. Bye!